Today we will continue our discussion on section 9 subsection 3 of CGST Act 2017, where the services on which supply of services on which reverse charge mechanism is to be applied has been discussed. Now, in our past classes we already discussed up to entry 8 of this section. Today we will start our discussion from entry 9 and entry 9A. Now here in entry 9 and in entry 9A we have supply of services by way of transfer or permitting the use of enjoyment of a copyright under section 13 subsection 1 and clause A of Copyright Act 1957. So the service is relating with transfer or permitting use or enjoyment of copyright covered under section 13 subsection 1 clause A of Copyright Act 1957. Here in entry 9 it has been stated that relating to original dramatic, musical and artistic work by a music composer or photographer, artist or like to a music company, producer or like. That means here the supplier is the original dramatic, musical or artistic work. It is the work, it is the kind of supply that is to be provided. That means original dramatic, musical or artistic work. Now who is the supplier? Supplier is the music composer, photographer, artist or like. And who is the recipient? The music company, producer or like, they are the recipient. Now in such a circumstances where such type of supply are to be provided to music company, producer or like by the music composer, photographer, artist, etc., here a reverse charge mechanism is to be applied. That means the recipient of services, that means the music company, producer, etc., they are the recipient of such services. They are liable to pay GST on the supply of the original dramatic, musical and artistic work made by the composer, photographer, artist, etc. This is the entry 9. Now in entry 9A it is almost similar to entry 9, but slight difference is there. Here the activity is relating to original literacy work and the supplier is the author and recipient is the publisher. That means here author provided services to the publisher by way of literacy work, original literacy work, and in that case also where the author provided such supply to the publishers, here the publisher as a recipient of service are liable to pay GST. But here the option is open. That means if the author is a registered person and he gives a declaration to the publishers that as a provider of services he will pay the GST on supply of his services under forward charge, then there will be no reverse charge mechanism. That means where author agree to pay GST as a provider of, as a supplier of services under forward charges, then the publishers are not responsible as a recipient of services to pay GST. Now, here it has been discussed that RCM entry 9A not applies if the author agree to discharge tax. However, reverse charge mechanism under 9A shall not apply where the author has taken the registration from CGST Act and filed a declaration before the commencement of any financial year for the option to be effective from the commencement of that financial year with the jurisdictional CGST SGST commissioner that he exercised the option to pay GST on the said services under forward charges and to comply with all the provision of GST as they apply to a person liable to paying the tax in relation to the supply of any goods or services or both, and that he will not withdraw the said option within a period of 1 year from the date of exercising of such option, and makes a declaration to the invoice issued by him in form GST INB1 to the publishers. So, in respect of entry 9A, there is a option. That means if the author as a provider of such services taken registration under CGST Act and he given a declaration in GST INB1 in form GST INB1 to the publishers that he will liable to pay GST on the consideration that he will receive for providing or supplying service to the publishers under forward charge mechanism, then here the publishers as a recipient of services does not have any obligation to pay GST because the GST is already paid by the provider of the services, that means the author, under forward charges. But if the author does not have taken any registration from CGST, or if the author does not taken any registration under CGST Act or does not given any declaration to the publishers that he will pay GST under forward charges, then the recipient of the services, that means here the recipient of the services are the publishers of the books, so they are responsible for paying GST on the amount of the consideration that is to be paid to the author under reverse charge mechanism. Now, in entry number 10, the supply of services by member of OCRBI. OCRBI means Overseeing Committee to the Reserve Bank of India. So here the supply of the services is provided by member of OC of RBI. That means here the provider of the services are the member of the Overseeing Committee to RBI. Now, recipient of the services is Reserve Bank of India. Now, here, as per entry 10 of CGST Act, as per entry 10 of section 9 subsection 3 of CGST Act 2017, it has been stated that in such cases, the recipient of services, that means the Reserve Bank of India, are responsible to pay GST on the amount of consideration that is to be paid by RBI to the member of OC. Now, the next entry is entry 11 and in entry 11 it has been stated that the service supplied by individual direct selling agent other than a body corporate partnership or limited liability partnership fund, which is in short which is called individual DSA. DSA means direct selling agent. Here service supplied by individual DSA, that means individual direct selling agent to bank or non-banking financial corporation. So the supply is provided by individual direct selling agent to bank or non-banking financial institution. So here the provider of the services is individual DSA, individual direct selling agent, and recipient of the services is bank or non-banking financial corporation. Now in that case, the amount of the consideration that is to be paid by bank or non-banking financial corporation to individual direct selling agent in the form of commission will attract GST, and that GST is to be paid by the recipient of the services. Here the recipient of the services are the bank or non-banking financial corporation. So here the recipient of services, that means the bank or non-banking financial corporation, are liable to pay GST on the amount of the consideration that is paid by bank or non-banking financial corporation to the direct selling agent. Now